Good day, everyone. I'm John, your moderator for this webinar. I welcome everyone for today's webinar, which is called NSA Break Down the Basics. So now I would like to introduce our presenter for today. Her name is Stephanie Thomas. Stephanie Thomas, CPC, CANPC, is a billing director for CE Medical Group. She has experience in multi-specialties of medical coding, billing, and coding in certified pain and anesthesia coder as well as certified professional coder. So now I would like to hand over the floor back to our speaker. Over to you, Stephanie.
Thank you so much for that warm welcome, and welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us. Really excited to talk about the No Surprises Act today and hopefully give you a few nuggets and help everybody understand this new legislation and how it affects everybody and their practices. So let's go ahead and get started. So first things first, let's talk about the objectives that we'll go over today. We'll obviously do an overview of the new legislation. We will go deep into notice and disclosures that are required and talk about our billing limitations as well. We will also talk about good faith estimates and what those mean. We're going to talk about balance billing and what that actual term means, and we'll go into the dispute resolution process. We will also dive a little into the state laws, then we'll talk about compliance and how this new law is enforced, and then we're going to talk about the new updates as recent as a few weeks ago that came out. Our overview of legislation. Moving on to policies and disclosures, just as an overall, as talking about your internal policies and disclosures. So let's talk about how we implement into our current workflow. If you just implement this in with your front desk, there's definitely a lot of confusion surrounding this topic. Obviously not required for emergency services. Medicare, Medicaid, and TRICARE programs are not included in the No Surprises Act form over here. This is the CMS standard form that is available online. It's called this Form CMS 10780. You can pull it up anytime. It is going to allow you to contact your insurance company and get the information yourself, which is exactly what should happen, is the patient should take responsibility for their own health care and their own financial responsibility, and they should call their insurance and find out what their benefits are. This is them agreeing to all of these things, and then this last page is the actual descriptions of what services we are going to offer. So we absolutely have to make sure that everything jives and that all 3 pages patient gets a copy of and that we have a copy of as well. You also need to know here that it has a date and time. And also, if it's not the patient signing, we better know who it is and who they are to the patient. Provider directories. This is also another thing that I think has been a good change and a good reminder for providers. We must stay up to date with our payers that we are in network with. This is something that you better make sure your billing department, your administration, your credentialing people, whoever is making sure that all things are driving. I do not recommend that you list the payers that you are or are not in network with on your website. Let's move into balance billing versus surprise billing. Balance billing is what everybody seems to want to use the term, but really what everybody's meaning is surprise billing. Okay, surprise billing is when we go to the doctor and we see them and they bill $1,000 to our insurance for the visit, and our insurance says, oh, I'm sorry, they aren't in your network, we're only going to pay $50, and now you're responsible for the other $950. Now, what do we do for services that were prior to 2022? Because this did not go into effect until January 1st of this year. So we have, these consumer assistance programs that are in effect in each state, are available to patients for help to understand their medical bills, help to understand how the NSA works, help to, understand all things related to the NSA. So how is this implemented? Let's talk about the claim payment and resolution process. Once we get our payment from the insurance company, our out-of-network payment, we have a 30-day window to go ahead and submit for a, as far as as the NSA and the state versus federal level. Every state has their own implementation rules and how they're going to implement these within their state. Make sure your paperwork is up to date. Make sure your staff is well educated. Another thing that I think is important to note is if your provider or your group goes to a facility to provide services, it's important to know and for the patient to understand that they could get several bills and that this is only for your portion of the bill. That's something that still is a little confusing to some patients. I really hope you guys enjoyed the webinar today. There's lots of resources out there. Go to the cms.gov website. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day and stay safe out there.